In this video, I am going to be talking about my favorite book that was recommended to me by my mentor about 10 years ago, and it is called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. So if you are an entrepreneur or just someone who's looking to better in themselves, this book is a must read. It is super easy and easy to understand. Napoleon Hill was known for interviewing multimillionaires back in the day, and he also had written books like Think or Grow Rich. However, I couldn't really get into that book. Like, I never passed the first chapter. However, this book, Outwitting the Devil, is so good that I read it every year. And this book, he had written it back in 1938. However, his wife was like, "You are not publishing this book." And this book did not get published till long after his death, which I believe it was published back in 2010. So it's been a while, and it sucks that he did not get to see how much this book impacted people like myself who reads it every year. In the first part, Napoleon Hill, he explains that he was explaining a little bit about his life and all his accomplishments and all his failures. He was saying that he was hanging around a particular crowd. He knew some people, like some elites, and there were some people that were after him. So he ran away, he ran into hiding, and while he was hiding out somewhere, he was at a low point of his life. And that's when he came across the devil. So he claims that he had interviewed the devil. Whether you believe that he actually interviewed the devil, that is up to you. But the book is still good. The rest of the book is of him interviewing the devil, and it's such a interesting interview that I'm gonna have to break this video into, I think, about maybe 3 to 5 parts, because there's a lot of information and a lot to unfold. I might not say everything on my mind because this book is so deep, and I don't know. I don't want to say anything that's like too like borderline crazy, but I mean, I don't know. I just might. So for this part, I am going to call it The Devil's Playground, because in the beginning of the book, the devil explains where he resides, who he is, and the tricks of the trades, all the tools that he uses. And yeah, Napoleon Hill starts out by asking the devil, like, who he is and where he lives. And the devil basically tells him that I have no physical being, so I don't have horns and a tail like how everybody pictures me. He has no physical being. And he does not reside in a place called hell where people burn for all eternity. There's no place like that. However, he lives amongst the people. He does not have no desire of controlling the stardust and the planets. He leaves that to his opposition, who is God. He rather live amongst the people and control the people. He basically also said that he is best described as the other half of the atom. So therefore, he flows through all of us just like how God flows through all of us. So he has access to universal power as much as God. So they're basically equals. It's just that God controls good and the devil controls bad. And to me, because I do recommend for people to take notes, but why would you take notes from a being that's evil? Why would you take notes from an evil being? And since I've read this book several times, I feel like it's not that the devil is evil. It's just that he has a job to do. You know, everybody gets handed, some people get handed a good card and some get handed a bad card. And he just so happens to get handed a bad card, which is his job is to spread negativity throughout the universe. And without negativity, he cannot survive. So therefore, he is the top dog of when it comes to being an entrepreneur. He has to promote negativity all day long. And for him, because he said it in the book that he controls 98 out of 100 people. For you to control 98 out of 100 people, you gotta be the best at what you do. In the first part, he also explains that he uses 6 main fears to control people, which is poverty, death, which is his top two. So, poverty, death, ill health, old age, being criticized, and loss of love. For me, poverty was, now I don't care about growing old. I can't control that. I can't control aging. I can't control death. That's going to happen whenever it happens. I can't control none of that. So I'm more of an acceptance of the few things that he has listed. However, poverty for me was a big one. For example, I like to save a lot. I used to save, well, I still save, but I was saving every last dollar. And I didn't realize that I was in such fear of being in poverty where I was just clinging on to my bank account for dear life. And that caused, as much as it's a good thing to save money, when you just have money and you're not doing nothing with it, you're not even investing or working towards things that can help you, that you can buy and use, it's not doing nothing. You're just constantly in fear of going broke. So I had to let go of that chokehold that I had over my savings. And that's one of the tricks that the devil uses is poverty. I know of a few people, actually, there's a lot of people who they're not really paying attention to their health. So let me not say that. But they talk about getting old. Within social media, people are worried about being criticized. And when it comes to loss of love, the way I've been observing this whole, I don't know which I call it, manosphere and something, whatever the heck is going on, the fight between man and woman is like crazy. So the devil is eating right now when it comes to just having negative energy floating around. It's crazy what I see. And I'm like, the devil is really putting in work, like for real, for real. Also says that people who think for themselves are his enemies. In other words, if you have self-control, if you are in control of your own mind, if you're not caught up in his shenanigans, you are not in his grip, therefore he cannot eat off of your energy, period. I do feel like, though, that since from reading this book and from everything that he says so far about him being the other half of the atom, and he has just the amount of access to the universe as God, we are basically made up of good and evil. So we can never escape the devil. So there's no really, you can't really outwit a force that's been around for millions of years. The best thing to do is to learn how to use some of those tools to apply it to your life and use it for good things. Like I said, the book is deep, and in order to really understand it, you're gonna have to read the whole thing for yourself. But I will do my best in these videos to make it easy to understand.